This is a really hard topic. I'm not going to hold you. This is something I struggled with, I'm working through, and I'm learning how to do it better. Okay? I'm going to preface that. Here's what I've learned. Growing up and struggling with the fear of abandonment, what happens is you live in a way where if you anticipate loss or abandonment, you will avoid doing things, saying things, even having certain conversations, creating discomfort for people or even yourself. You avoid those things. And you probably heard the word avoidance. That's even an attachment style, people that are avoidant. The danger zone to this, though, is that when you're emotional and you're struggling with embracing the discomfort and the perceived discomfort, meaning there may not be really anything bad, it's just you feel it and it's so heavy to you. Watch this. You will avoid doing hard things that are very critical, that if you don't do it now, it'll become an avalanche of trouble later on. And I have been very guilty of this. I have avoided talking to people. I avoided certain hard conversations. I avoided so many things because I anticipated loss. I anticipated abandonment. I anticipated rejection. I anticipated a level of discomfort for either people or even myself. And that made me avoid things that was very unhealthy, very unwise. And watch this. I will admit I lost a lot of beautiful relationships. It cost me a lot of things in my life. And I had to really get aggressive about looking at where it shows up the most and why. Some people, when they're anxious, it could be for many reasons. Some people are attempting to, watch this. I always tell people, change the word anxious to what are you anticipating? Some people are anticipating embarrassment. Some people are anticipating loss. Some people are anticipating failure. Some people are anticipating disappointment. Some people are anticipating guilt and shame. See, whatever it is that you're anticipating, watch this. If you need to have a conversation with somebody you love or care about, or need to get on the phone with somebody and it's important that you got to have this phone call, or you got to have this meeting, or you got to address a situation, whatever that looks like for you, watch this. I mean this with everything in my heart. As soon as possible, have the conversation. As soon as possible, just go ahead and address it. The longer you wait, the greater the tension and the avalanche of trouble you create. Sometimes God will lead you not to say something. Sometimes God will lead you not to address a particular situation. But then there are sometimes I've learned that in your anxiety or in your emotions, you can convince yourself that you're not supposed to speak when you really are. And here's my encouragement to you, because this is really scary for those who struggle with anxiety or have issues with abandonment or fear of rejection. Watch this. Even codependency, if you struggle with that, it can really affect you. We'll have a talk about that one day. Watch this, y'all. You have to learn to trust people's capacity. Okay? Like that's one of the greatest things you can do for somebody, is not withhold information because you think it's going to create a level of discomfort for them. Not withhold information because you're anticipating you're going to lose that individual. The best thing you can do is trust people's capacity. Even if you think they're not going to take it well, trust people's capacity. Human beings literally are just naturally resilient. Human beings just across history have gone through extremely hard things. What I found is after you talk to who you need to talk to, address what you need to address, confront what you need to confront, watch this. 85% of the time, it is not what your anxiety told you it would be. You have to know that whatever you need to confront, whatever you need to address, whatever you need to communicate about, to whether it's your loved ones, somebody you really don't know like that, or just somebody you really need to call or speak to. It's not as bad as you think, but I need you to trust other people's capacity. Here's an example. Imagine if there was someone afraid to talk to you. Imagine if there was someone afraid to communicate with you. Imagine if somebody was sweating bullets every night, every day, knowing they need to talk to you, but they're afraid to. If you found out, you would be like, yo, you could talk to me. Like, I'm going to be okay. Like, what do you need to tell me? What's going on? Even if it is heavy, I'm ready for it. I know the cost of not always doing that correctly, and I don't want you to have to experience it. Communicate early. Withholding information never ends well. And so I want to say one last thing on this note. I know this sounds easier said than done. And most of the time you feel like this with the people you normally don't feel safe with. So here's an example. You could say, hey, I have some things I want to share with you, but I'm honestly afraid to. Can you promise me you won't judge me after telling you? Can you promise me you'll hear me out? Can you promise me, you'll just give me an opportunity to tell you everything I need to tell you? Allow them to tell you, yo, you good. Watch this though. If you're already unsafe with this person, or you just feel emotionally unsafe to have the courage to communicate, if you can't say it out loud, write it down. If you can't say it out loud, just write it down. And even if you still need to communicate to an individual and you're struggling to muster up the courage, ask them, hey, do you mind in this conversation, can I read off this paper? Because the way my emotions are set up, I don't know if I'm going to be able to communicate this correctly if I just don't read what I wrote. And I know people who like to write, okay? They rather write than say it out loud. That's your motivation. That is your momentum. Because the longer you wait, the greater of the avalanche you create. I love you. I'll see you soon. Make sure you apply what you've heard. This can literally save not just your life, but many meaningful relationships that if you don't do this correctly, you could lose haphazardly, and it really didn't have to end that way. Because God forbid they found out another way. If it's really that heavy and they found out through somebody else, that really hurts. That really hurts. And so, again, I love you. Be encouraged. I'll see you soon. And if you want to meet with me one-on-one, now you can do that too. I have this opportunity to host an amazing community called the Momentum Academy. It is an amazing opportunity for people to connect with me. We meet every single Monday on Zoom. So I love y'all. I'll see you soon.